Hi guys, my name is Abhishek, and for those of you who don't know me, I love teaching. I've been teaching since the age of 11. I'm an Ivy League pass out with education startup experience in India, and now I have a school in Italy where we coach our students for languages and preparation for exams such as GMAT, SAT, TSA, GRE, interview preparation, etc. And for this, we take group discussion and CV making classes. Every day I meet students of various ages from different sectors for the interview preparation classes. And therefore, I've got quite a good experience as to how to express yourself correctly in a CV. And that's what we're going to see in this video today. Okay, so that was the introduction, but by the end of the video, you should be able to formulate your own personal approach towards your CV. Let's get into it. Now this video is going to be a bit long, so I'm going to divide it into different sections so you can jump directly to the section that you want to. But if you are watching it for the first time, I strongly suggest you to watch it in a flow, just like a CV is, a storytelling. We'll get into it a bit later. So we all know what a CV is, but what I've noticed across different ages and experiences of my students, that they are not really sure what the purpose of their CV is supposed to be. See, the CV is a quick story of your career, but what do you want to represent in this story? Do you want to say you're good at marketing, general management, finance, or you want to say that you are in the tech sector for a long time with varied cultural management experience or whatever else? The idea is you need to be clear what you want to represent. And it's not just about the sector, it's also about the profile that you'd be working in or the course that you would be frequenting in the university. And let me also say there is a misconception that your work experience will automatically define how you want to represent your CV. Well, that is true to some extent, but you can change the wording of your CV to make sure that each and every section of your CV has an objective in the story. Now that we're done with the theory, let's come to the practical aspects. These are the 5 steps that you need to make a killing CV. Number 1, a lot of data, facts, information. Number 2, structure and format, appropriate to the company, university, checking the empty spaces, etc. Number 3, phrase construction, the register in which you're supposed to write, the choice of words, etc. Number 4, personalization to the designation in the company or the course in the university that you're applying to. Number 5, review and proofread to make it watertight. That's all, you're done. You can go home now. Now let's cover each and every point in some detail now. Number 1, a lot of data, facts, or information. I know that making a good CV might seem like an ominous task, and these steps might become much harder if you don't get the first step right. That is, to get all the data, all the information at one place. Because once you have all the information that you have, then you can visualize what is the right structure that you want to showcase all that information. And that's where master CV comes into place. A master CV is the CV in its raw form. There is all the information that you can think of in this version of the CV. All your experiences, no matter how trivial they are. Of course, at this point, the structure, language isn't really important. The only thing important is all the information that you might want to put in your CV goes in a chronological format. Let me give you a fair estimate of how long this master CV should be. It should be somewhere around 4 to 8 pages long with a font size of 11 of Times New Roman or Garamond on a Word file, of course. Now, it might seem very long, but you need to put all that information at one place so that your CV, the final CV, is going to be really crisp. Number 2, length, structure, and format. Structure, there are 2 types, chronological and skill-based. Skill-based is used when you have had different types of job where you use different skills, and hence the division is as per the skills that you have. But for most of us, the structure that bodes well is chronological. The idea is very simple. All the sections go chronologically from the most recent going backwards. Formats. Now this can get a little bit complicated because different formats are used in different countries and for different universities. For example, the EU format is not generally preferred by a lot of MNCs, or there are certain formats suggested by the universities. For example, in the last years I've seen that the universities where my students were applying, they have asked them for the 2-column format CV. Anyway, mostly if you have a good format with the structure and the overall look, then you're good to go. Of course, if you want some format options on Word, then just feel free to write to me in the description below and I'll send it to you. One thing that I suggest all my students do is to write a profile at the top of the CV. You call it professional experience if you have experience. Otherwise, you call it objective and it would be very short. Let's talk about the overall length for the CV. It should be 1-pager, not more, if you have experience to like 3 years or so. If you have more than 3 but like until 10 years, then it should be 2 years. Then it should be 2 pages. And if you have 10 plus years of experience, then you can go to 3 pages. But I would not suggest you to go past 3 pages. Means do not go 4 and 5 pages. It's just too long for a CV. Phrase construction. This one is quite simple. You need to write things very short and concise, and you should use the third person. So you would not say, I was responsible for something. Number 4, personalization to the designation in the company or the course in the university. As I was saying at the start, every section and every word that you write should be with the thought of its relevance to the designation or the course that you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for the position of a sole MIS, then extracurricular activities or team sports might not be relevant here. But instead, if you're applying for the team leader MIS, then yes, it might just become relevant. So you'll have to make different versions of your CV according to where you're applying. And having a master CV at that point is going to be super important. Number 5, review and proofread. Finally, reviewing the CV for the empty spaces, spelling mistakes, grammar, format adherence, fonts, margins, etc. to make sure it is the best representation possible for your candidature. Believe me, I've got such silly mistakes during my reviews that you won't believe it. Remember, putting all that effort to make a killing CV and not doing an extensive review is just stupid. That's it for the video, guys. I've tried to cover the most basic and important points needed to make the best CV. Think about the steps and the approach in which you can personalize it to your requirements. And remember, don't get too caught up in the whole format and structure, etc. It's your story and you need to tell it in the best way possible. Lastly, if you have any questions, then please feel free to write them in the comments. And for any free material request or for the comprehensive course, you can write to my school. The link is in the description. As usual, if you like the video, then please like, subscribe, press on that bell icon, and share it with your friends and family who can also benefit from this. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video.